Hey guys, in this video we will have a look at how to create a server in Node.js. In order to start this video, we have some requirements that need to be complied before you start looking at this video and start creating a server in Node.js. So in order to create a server in Node.js, you must have Node.js installed in your PC and you must have any code editor. It can be Visual Studio, Visual Code, or what I have installed in my PC is Atom Text Editor. In case you don't know how to install Node.js or a code editor in your PC, I have another video on that which you can refer in the description below. I'll put a link to that video where I have explained step by step how to install a code editor and Node.js in your PC. So in this video we'll start with understanding what exactly is a server, and then we will create a server with Node.js. So before we start creating a server, we need to know what exactly is a server. We hear this term a lot in web or software development, but many people don't really understand what exactly is a server. So to understand what exactly is a server, I'll create some diagram here where I will explain how exactly the web development works. So any kind of web application has three parts, which is, we can call it as front end, from where the user makes a request any data to the server, and then there is a backend, and the entire backend consists of basically two things, which is server plus database. So whenever a user makes a request from the front end is basically when you go to your web browser and you open any, let's say I open Google and I search something, let's say Apple. So the Google server returns me some data on Apple. So I can browse all the data. From where this data is coming is, it's basically a PC which is kept somewhere in the world, and it's basically a server of Google. So in order to understand more clearly what exactly is a server, let's understand. Let's say I have some files which are stored in this PC. So how would I access that files? I'll just go to that particular folder in my PC. I can go to this PC and go to that particular folder where the file is kept, and I'm able to open that file in this PC. Now let's take an example that I need to access all these files that are kept in this PC from somewhere else, from my let's say I want to access all these files from the browser. Let's say I have a website which is, let's say, example.com, and through example.com I want to see all the information that's kept in this PC from anywhere in the world through this domain. So in order to do that, I need to convert this PC into server. So how to convert this PC into server? It's just like putting an antenna over your PC so that you can communicate with this PC and get data that is stored in this computer from anywhere else in the world with the help of your web browser and the domain that is pointing to this PC. So server is nothing but, I'll draw a diagram which might not look very good, but just an example. So this is basically one PC, and it has some kind of antenna installed over it. This antenna, what it will help us to communicate with this PC from remote. So through the web browser, let's say user goes to the website and makes a call to get some data stored in this PC. User makes a call from his own PC to the web browser. Now this server pulls the data from the database. Now this database can be in this exactly the same PC as the server, or in some cases database itself can be stored in another PC. So let's say this is a database, and let's say this is just a server. This is just a computer that does all the calculations on the data. So when a user makes a call to this server, which is basically a PC with some kind of antenna installed over it, so this server requests the data from the database, and when the database returns the data to the server does some kind of computations. It can be any kind of computation like addition, multiplication, and whatever computation need to be done on the data coming from the database, and then server returns the data to the user. So this is exactly how the web development works. Now what we are trying to create in Node.js is this server, basically a PC with an antenna, and this PC, any data from this PC can be accessed through the web browser from anywhere in the world. So that's what we are going to do by creating a server. I mean that in on this PC I'm going to put some kind of antenna from where the data can be accessed from anywhere. So I hope you now have a good understanding of what exactly is a server. Now we'll actually go and practically build a server using Node.js. If you don't know how to install Node.js, you can check out my video in the description, and I recommend you watch that video first before learning how to create a server. So in order to create a server, I'll just go to any of my folder in my directory, and I'll create a new folder which I can call it as a server. I'll go to my Atom text editor and open that folder, server. Now in this server, what I'll do is I'll initiate this directory by using a command npm init. In order to use these commands, again Node.js must be installed in your PC. So when I initiate this directory with this command, it creates a file called package.json. And now what we will do, we'll create another file here which is called server.mjs, and we need to install some packages in order to create a server in Node.js. So first package that we are going to install is npm install express. So as soon as we install the package, we can go and check in the package.json. It keeps on adding all the packages to here in the dependencies. So now on server.mjs, we will write our JavaScript code to create the server. So what we can do is we can even check the documentation of the Express by checking express npm. So this is the website where we can find all the Node.js packages, and we can find how to use these packages. So if you want to read more about this, so here is a command how to install the Express package, and if you want to read more about it, you can check out this documentation. So what we will do is we'll import Express from Express, and then we'll create an app by calling Express, and then we'll say app.listen. Here we can mention the port name, port number, and we can say server is running. Now in the package.json, in order to execute this lines of code, we need to change the name of the main file, which is server.mjs, and we need to add a start command here, which will be node server.mjs. In order to execute this file, we can directly execute this file by doing this server.mjs. Now it says server is up and running. That means it's listening on the port 5000. So now if I go, let's say I create another endpoint, get. So on this endpoint, I'm going to return something. Let's say I return hello world. Now if I restart this file with the same command, node server.mjs, and now if I go to my web browser and I open localhost 5000, I should be able to see the hello world here. Now it's running on the browser on your local host, but when we will deploy this application to somewhere on the cloud or on the domain, so I'll be able to access this. In itself is an entire website which I'll be able to access with some kind of domain, like example. When I'll open example.com, I'll be able to see the hello world when this site is properly deployed. But as of now, since this website is running on the local host, we can access it on the local host at port 5000. So now the server is up and running, but let's say we need to make some changes here. Hello world, I am a Node.js web application. Now if I save it, and if I try to refresh, the changes don't reflect here. So in order to whenever we make any change to this file and save it again, we want that the changes are automatically reflected on this domain without having to cut and restart the server with this command again. Now if we restart it, we should be able to see the changes here. I am a Node.js web application. So in order to auto update this application, we will install one more package which is called NodeMon. So now this package is already installed. Now what we can do is we can initiate this start command with nodemon server.mjs. So once we do that, when we run a command npm start, now the server is running. But now what's the benefit of this nodemon? So as of now, my application looks like this. Hello, I'm a Node.js web application. Let's make some change here. I am a new application which is under construction. So if I now make these changes and save this file, now the server automatically detects all these changes with the help of nodemon package, and now we don't have to run the server again. We can again go and refresh this and we'll be able to see all the changes here. So now basically we have turned this PC into a server by putting some kind of antenna over it, and we will, once we properly start building this application, we will be able to access all the data that is being stored in this computer from the web using the proper domain name. Now we can listen to this server on any port. I've just randomly mentioned it 5000. Let's say if I change it to 8000. Now if I refresh this, I will not be able to load this. In order to load this, I need to change the port number here as well. So if I load this, now this application is running on the local host port 8000. So that's how we create a very basic server using Node.js. We'll be building much more Node.js applications on this channel, and to watch all the latest content on React and Node.js and web development, stay tuned to this channel. Thank you so much. Bye bye.